Little known fact, I have significant opinions on violence. It's not that I particularly like violence, I actually very much prefer to avoid it. It comes with all the training and experience you develop a distaste for having to actually do it. But I do understand violence, how it's a part of all of us, how it achieves things. How much it gets to blood pumping. Why the snap of a man's bone is so satisfying. Why the adrenaline-spiked warm blood on your face makes it all worth it. Why the crack of a rifle is the only moment in time I'm truly alive. And that if it was your last resort, you just failed to resort to enough of it. Hi, my name is Lagger, and I Am Your Beast is a first-person shooter in which you take on the role of a traumatic event currently happening to a brigade of Special Forces operatives who have made the irreversible mistake of entering the same patch of land you've been living on. Alphonse Harding here is the Covert Operations Initiative's single best attack dog. A fact he decides to demonstrate to all the poor bastards Command has sent to try and get him out of retirement for his sixth one last job. By killing them. All of them. Surrounded on all sides by future corpses, the world's angriest retiree declares war on the government that trained him, citing long-standing Texas home defense doctrine and concerns about the welfare of the wildlife that he shares a natural habitat with. Not having watched Rambo before, the general in charge of the operation actually commits to retrieving him and sends the troops in, all to the tune of hundreds of dead and millions of dollars in equipment loss. None of that is Harding's problem, however. He's been very clear about this whole situation. He gave the general a choice, and now the ball's in his court. The slaughter can stop whenever he chooses to. All he needs to do is call it off. But as the argument between the personification of Operation Iraqi Liberation and Fluttershy on a deadly cocktail of combat drugs escalates and search teams begin combing the area they suspect he's in, the only reasonable response is to embrace a style of guerrilla warfare only a man in a tactical sweater with far too much weapons training could hope to achieve. Come out of nowhere, personally sign the death certificates of everyone who gets in the way of the objective, and disappear right back into the wilderness. Every time Harding comes out of the woodworks, it's the sounds of an out-of-control firefight and the dying gasps of the 4th platoon to meet its end inside of an hour. All of which are replaced by dead silence 2 minutes later, with corpses left where they died as a warning to the rest. There are very good reasons Harding's the company's favorite attack dog, but that level of skill sounds like tall tales even to the agents actually hunting him. Right up until one single dude appears out of nowhere, runs directly through the formation at a speed no human being should be capable of, not even bothering to use the iron sights as he riddles the entire fire team with perfect headshots from the rifle he grabbed off the sentry he just decapitated with a flying kick. All before that sentry's corpse hit the ground. With his goddamn leg broken. I Am Your Beast is somewhere between Hotline Miami and 3D and actually getting a John Wick video game, and you get to be the choreographer, the stuntman, and the audience all at once. The average level is made up of some of the fastest and most brutal action you could ever imagine, never mind experience, during which you'll not only shoot people, but deck them with guns thrown with enough force to break on impact, beat some poor fucker to death with a tree branch, and step on a head hard enough to render it into a fine red mist. All in between landing headshots from an assault rifle at full sprint. When your local news station talks about how video games are the most violent, deranged, evil fantasies intended to destroy your perception of reality, this is the exact thing they're thinking it's all about. And they're absolutely right. Stacking bodies feels fucking great! But doing it stylishly is another matter entirely. This isn't just a game about murdering people, it's a game about murdering a whole lot of people very fucking quickly in extremely creative ways. And that means we need to measure those qualities. The industry standard is this weird concept called a style meter. Unfortunately, this is a Strange Scaffold game, so that wasn't creative enough. No, the only measure of success here is the timer. The same timer you get to shave entire seconds off of by reducing the COI's finest to significantly finer pace with explosions. And sure, you could just put some rounds on target and call that a day, but that's only 0.3 of a second off the total. A knife throw is fully double that, and you get even more off by decking that person and caving their skull in with your boot. And you want to fit under that S rank, right? Anything and everything Harding lays his hands on can and will be used as a weapon, whether it's a stray piece of wood, a thrown bear trap, or a conveniently placed wasp nest. And the more out there the method of dispatch is, the better things are for the timer. After all, a headshot is boring in comparison to drowning someone in wasps or depriving them of their limb privileges with an explosion. So here, have a full half second more for going that extra mile. Which is not to say you need any tools to permanently retire a company's worth of fully deniable morons before breakfast. Hands aren't quite as quick as a bullet, but they'll get the job done in a pinch, and then there is the simple anatomical fact that a kick you actually mean is somewhere in the ballpark of 1200 psi for the average person, which, when applied to someone with Harding's physique and accounting for a little gravity assist, translates roughly to fucking dead for the poor sod on the receiving end. As a movement shooter, though, only about half of the, on average, 90 seconds you'll spend in each level will be dedicated to making problems go away by the old Soviet method. The other half is reserved for sliding, climbing, sprinting across tight ropes, and leaping off of things for fun and murderous success. Reality itself considers the very concept of fall damage taboo in Harding's presence, meaning that as long as you don't fall out a level, it doesn't matter how far below an enemy is for them to serve as a landing pad. Sliding into people knocks them over, setting up a comfortable 1-2 as you springboard a kick after suddenly ending life into the next firefight. And all you have to do is grin at the timer conceding another 0.8 seconds as if to confirm how cool you're being. Running through levels at a pace usually reserved for things with a diesel engine does however mean those levels have to be precision engineered to accommodate that speed. There is a method to the madness even here. Whether it's directly below a ledge you drop from or in a half circle so perfect it's begging to have a grenade land in the middle, enemy placement is pure design, an invitation to find and push the boundaries of how you can dispatch every group. Not a millimeter of the geometry is out of place, not one climbable object redundant. Virtually all you see is either an obstacle to overcome or an opportunity to be exploited, plastered against the backdrop of a tunnel network that makes even the coochie tunnels beam with pride. Across 4 campaigns, the insanity only ever escalates, from feats at the edge of human potential all the way to the misses crafted by the survivors, and, well, Cold Sweat's named that because that's what Gerald Birkin wakes up in every night. Every new campaign, things get less and less real until the COI agents teleport and the gravity's been reduced to nothing, but still, Harding crushes them under his heel. Because for all their guns, no government can ever make someone show up to work. Played to its full potential, I Am Your Beast is a speedrunner's wet dream. Each level can be played as is, ran through like a gauntlet, or you could choose to see it as a routing exercise, shaving another third of a second off the total by optimizing the exact throw distance, learning the mechanical impact of finishing enemies off while midair compared to while running, and figuring out the exact placement of an RPG shot so you don't have to pull the trigger twice. Every step can be a premeditated, calculated move based on the closest thing to scientific consensus the world of video games has, or the result of a decision made 37 milliseconds ago under the influence of performance enhancers that just so happen to be illegal in most jurisdictions. It'll be fun regardless. For the COI, it's kind of like wishing on a falling star to make a hurricane go away. For you, it's adrenaline with a brand label. and so easy to get lost in. Beating this game is maybe a 4-hour affair, but here I am, 25 hours later, still finding more ways to make the whole thing shorter for myself. Stopping for even a second could result in your death, yes, but stopping is already the type of theoretical we do not entertain in this house. And just getting the S ranks might not be enough. For a select few of us, the only way we'll be satisfied is the sound of the timer being broken over a knee. Visually, it's not complex or beautiful, but that's because it physically can't be. The comic book style has to be simple. It has to lean into the cartoonish low polygons because you're moving at Mach 4 right through it, and making sure you can actually tell what's going on is the success. It doesn't matter that graphics cards can do AI-assisted lighting and textures whenever Nvidia shackles a new function to a $900 card, because you wouldn't be able to appreciate it anyway. Not while throwing an empty pistol at a terrified goon and plotting the exact path you're going to take through the rest of his team in the span of a second. I Am Your Beast doesn't give a damn about photorealism, about sprucing the American Midwest forest it takes place in up any. It doesn't have time for such bullshit. Simplicity gets the point across better anyway. The only visual style it affords itself is minimalist. The only cutscenes it lets itself have are nothing more than clever kinetic typography and still images. But it doesn't matter, because the head explosions being censored by a cross effect and the barely noticeable slow-mo on kill make up for everything. It doesn't matter, because the gunfire is the perfect combination of tracers and muzzle flash necessary to adjust your shots. It doesn't matter, because having the explosions be flashy would make it difficult to figure out the exact blast radius. Most of all, it doesn't matter, because they've unleashed RJ motherfucking Lake on our eardrums instead.
Motherfuckers wanna make a statement. Cigarette on forehead, face on pavement. Got a cell block in my basement. Exercising tyrants with the dawn that's breaking. Turn on lights cause the stage is set. Blood is warm and my face is wet. Hands are full with the lives I've wrecked. Painted with the slaughter that they won't forget, huh? There's a beast inside of me. Fuck a let out away. There's a beast inside of me. The beast inside of me.
I Am Your Beast isn't just a game, it's the absolute pinnacle of what movement shooters can be like. It's an absurd, cocaine-fueled power trip into the deepest bits of violence, where the only law is speed. It's the unsung best soundtrack of last year, perfectly underscoring a game so damn straightforward, it barely needs 20 seconds to tutorial itself. It's bloody, it's hilarious, and when it wants to be, it's an emotional gut punch. And it's just plain fucking awesome. Hell, the epilogue is told by the few remaining survivors of Harding's rampage, and all they can agree on is that it can't possibly be real. In fact, that is precisely what they are going to tell Congress when they ask where all those people and money went. It didn't happen. Alphonse Harding
isn't real, gentlemen. And I will be saying as much to a very important subcommittee tomorrow. With your supporting testimony, I hope.